We are live. Facebook Live, day 5. What is going on, everybody? I want to just real quick make sure I'm still getting the hang of this thing over here. Yep, we are on the computer. So I hope everyone's having a good what day is today? Wednesday. Can't even keep up with the days anymore. It's today's a real foggy day out here, but things are going good. I'm going to have Mr. Mike Maharas jump on here shortly, and we'll talk about all things out in the Midwest and see how everything's going. And yeah, yesterday, awesome day. Got to hang out with the kids. We went and did a 5K at the beach, not on the beach, but at the beach. And they got to run with a good friend of ours, Jill. So that was pretty exciting. And yeah, so how's everybody's goals going for the month? I know it's beginning the 5th day of April. We're just starting the Q2. I know we're off to a little bit of a rocky start right now. Had a nice meeting with management today to discuss where we're dropping the ball right now. And part of it was we're supposed to be tracking numbers every single day, every single week, metrics, goals, and we fell short. And the problem was that we weren't holding each other accountable for that. So because of that, right now we're falling back on our goals for April, and that's not good. But we recognize that early in the month, and we know what we need to do to fix this and correct this. And we have a plan going forward. And that's just important because as business owners, sometimes we lose sight of what we're supposed to be focused on. And when we're pulled in different directions, the one thing that we should be focusing on starts getting less and less attention. And the thing that we want to focus on, the shiny object, gets all the attention. So things will start to sacrifice, numbers will sacrifice. And unless you're holding yourself accountable or have a team to do that with you, you lose sight of it, and sometimes it's too late. The good thing about what we're going through right now, it's the 5th of April, so we're able to recognize that early and adjust and pivot to fix what we did wrong. So we've got a plan. We've got a 2-day plan to sit down, correct what we're doing, figure out how we can adjust for the rest of the month and going forward for the rest of the year, so we can really hammer out these goals and make the mission complete this month. So let me know if you guys are having the same experiences. I know it happens a lot for us, especially once we get started with the Christmas lights. It's go, 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 go. And we real quickly will lose sight of everything. But hold on one second. I've got Mr. Mr. Mike Maharas.
How are you doing, JC?
What's going on?
Man, reporting live.
Rubber. I love it.
Oh, man, I feel like I'm like more than that right now. I'm like emotional support animal for my whole team that's out here trying to like do work in the snow and cold up here in Minnesota. So,
well, that's what happens as the CEO, the owner, and all that stuff. Just we've got to pivot and focus on. Everything's constantly changing. So
real talk.
How's the weather out there? You look a little bundled up, and I'm sure it's nice and cold in there.
Oh, man, it is cold. But, I mean, I will say there is hope on the horizon. We have like a 70-degree day in the forecast next Tuesday, which is pretty much made like front headline news across the whole entire state. So
as what, like a heat wave?
No, as in like actual spring. Like we're like something like 30 degrees below average in terms of temperatures. Like last Friday or Saturday, we got like 9 inches of snow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm good with that.
But yeah, man, how about you, man? What's happening on the East Coast?
Well, I was talking about earlier, it was super foggy this morning. I mean, it felt like you can just drive through it and just hit fog and it slows you down. You couldn't see anything past 50 feet in front of you. But it's right now it's warm. We got a ton of rain coming starting Friday and all weekend. So there goes the weekend. I was hoping to get on the boat, but it'll be nice to actually, I told the kids, like, either you guys have a friend come over or we're doing nothing. And I'm fine with that because I want to actually sit down and breathe for the first
Yeah.
time. I've been go, 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 go for the last month and a half. And this weekend, I'm just going to decompress, finally unpack my luggage because I still haven't even done that yet.
Well, good for you, man. You deserve a break. I mean, I already know you good enough to say that grass doesn't grow very tall above your feet or below your feet, anyways, given how fast you're always moving throughout the year.
Yeah, I'm always a man on the go. Like my dad would always say, he's like, I'll sleep when I die. So I just want to be able to enjoy life and enjoy the kids and everything we do. So
Yeah, you're right about that.
talk to me. What do we got going on out there? Let's talk lights first because that's my
Yeah.
favorite topic.
Yeah, so lights is actually kind of a little bit of a heartbreak. We didn't get as big of a production last year as we anticipated, but it wasn't necessarily to a point of like not having the activity and the results, but more that we had the capacity. So it was like last October there was like a mud rainstorm where like for the most part every house got drenched in like mud from this weird rain. Yeah, it was really really weird, which like anybody that locally here in the area, their phones exploded. So it wasn't just us that kind of had to divide our attention between our window cleaning customers and our Christmas light activities, but everybody did. So for the most part, window cleaning took precedence because that's kind of our primary line of business at the time. And we were installing Christmas lights with like a foot of snow on people's roofs. So
That's crazy.
yeah, it didn't pan out, but yeah, so we're still getting punished by that. We still got houses that we haven't been able to take down because there's still too much snow on the roofs. And like some of them are like some of the lights are actually encased in lights or in ice.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. That's one thing we don't have to worry about out here in Southeast. So that's all you, buddy.
But we actually pulled a pretty cool deal. So we have a company locally that does they're a really large landscaper. So they manage like tons and tons of high value properties for people, and they actually are going to sell our lights for us this year. So
Oh,
all we got
cool.
to do is just basically provide them quotes, and they're just adding it as a line of business.
Very nice. So they'll just put a little markup on that, take a percentage, and then you guys do the install.
Exactly. So for us, like, hey, white labeling our service is fantastic because we don't have to hang our brand out there for the most part. And like as long as we're strategically aligned on what the goal is and what the customer's experience is, like it's a real big win-win.
Yeah. So with that, so I mean, how's that work? They're going to get you the info, the address, and then you're going to do it virtually and then send it to them.
Yeah, so we'll just basically get a series of addresses from them. They're going to have us go out, take the measurements. They'll go ahead and quote on their paper. So for the most part, they're going to kind of be the ones that are going to be the intermediary between us and the customer, even though like it's 100% of a pass through of information.
Okay. I like it. It's just you got to be cautious because now, setting the customer's expectations is going to be the big thing because what are they actually telling them? And this way, when you guys show up to do the work, it's not going to be like, well, they said this or I expected that. So just make sure that when you're doing the estimates, you're very detailed on the process and the whole steps and what they're getting, so that the expectations are met up front. Because
Yeah,
I
and
assume you're not going to have a lot of communication with the customer, right?
it won't be direct communication in regards to like the day of or other than the day of service and just managing expectations of what the install is going to look like when the techs are out there doing the work. Along the way, we're going to be very detailed on what's going to be installed in terms of the scope of work. Fortunately for us, we've had fantastic training where we're going to be using things like company cam, and we're marking up pictures and being very methodical on what's being installed and what the actual scope is going to look like in terms of a visual expectation. So, and then again, like we realize that the difference between a good and a great experience just determines whether or not the customer or the company is going to go ahead and make a stand on every little step along the way. Our goal is to make sure that the customer is walking away incredibly excited about the results they received. And for us to do just a little small extra step along the way to make sure those expectations are met, small cost to us in a big game in the long run for the customer.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I really love the idea, and I don't know if I've given you my service agreement, but I'll send you over our service agreement that it lines out everything from the install to the takedown to the following year discount, if there is a discount or when there would be a discount. The maintenance, to make sure they understand, why we're coming out there for no charge and what is a charge. and the terms and conditions. So I'll send it over to you and
Dude,
just
that's so cool.
tailor it out to you guys, and you'll be good to go with that. But yeah, I love the idea. I think any way you can just have multiple estimates be able to come in, or be able to provide multiple estimates, and even if it's doing the white label thing, why not? As long as it works, and the which you and the other company agreed to, make sure you're still getting that deposit to secure the lights is the
And
big
I think what's going to be probably like, and I should probably qualify what the relationship was built on. So they're already having us do all of their gutter cleaning for all of their clients.
very cool.
So because that relationship was kind of established where they sought us out to be their partner first, when we had this, so I should back up and say, like, earlier on this spring, we went and met with all of our partner companies and just kind of reaffirmed the expectations of the relationship, making sure that the rules of engagement are nice and clear and that everybody's still feeling really good about the partnerships. And then when we had met with this customer, they basically said, like, hey, what else do you guys do? Because we started talking power washing and all sorts of other things. And when we brought up Christmas lights, it was like an instant, like, their excitement turned up because, well, one, who doesn't love Christmas lights? And two, being their landscape company and they're very seasonal like us, it's a way for them to keep mind share with their high value clients throughout the colder months when they're not being as present around them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're just increasing those touches to them. And now that they're able to provide another service, another value to them, that just makes it more attractive for the homeowner to want to stay with them.
But I got to say, man, I thought about you. So like there was this winery locally that did this ice palace thing. So it's kind of a Minnesota thing where we have like these ice palaces made where they take like water and just slowly drip it and build like walls and these massive like ice structures. Right. And like we went and checked one of them out and I just thought, man, this is like JC's bread and butter. And what was funny is that the company that actually built the ice palace for the winery, they're from Utah. So I just imagine like how perfect it would be for you to just go ahead and bring your lighting expertise around the country to these type of events and set these places up with lighting. Because I know what you put together last year was way cool.
Yeah, thanks. All is bright. That was a ton of fun. Definitely an experience for me to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And the main goal of that was just to bring a Christmas experience to the community, to give them a long lasting tradition to be able to call home, if you will, every Christmas. And yeah, it was a huge success in the community. And did you reach out to them and see if there's something you can do there?
We kind of had some initial dialogue about maybe having some of our staff do some work for them in the off months. But they got so busy so quickly. I think it was kind of difficult for them. I mean, they were getting something like 5,000 visitors a Saturday.
Wow.
Like walking. Yeah. I mean, it is crazy how popular it got.
Is it a day and night event?
It is just, I think it actually is a day and night event. I can't tell you for sure, but I think it is day and night and it only operates on Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
Okay. Yeah, maybe there's a way you can collaborate with them and get some lights in there, bring in some trees. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to check it out. I can look online, but
yeah, I'll send you the link to it. It's super, super cool.
well, that's cool. What else going on? I don't see any boats or jet skis in the back.
No, the jet skis and the boats are over here.
Oh, there we go.
No, they're collecting dust right now. I was just thinking about it the other day. I got to do a little maintenance on the boat. I kind of just tucked it away in a hurry last fall. So there's a bunch of stuff that I'm sure I'm going to have to figure out. Other than that, man, like I'm just thinking about getting out and hanging out with the kids. We've been kind of talking through what our summer plans are going to be. One big thing we're going to do is go out and do a big road trip with the camper and visit Nate out in Michigan. So shout out to you, Nate, if you're listening here or watching. Other than that, we're going to do a bunch of camping locally, and the oldest girl, she's in softball this summer, so she's going to be busy. And the two younger twins, they're going to be doing camp, I think. So
yeah, that's one thing that I love about you and Ashley. You guys are very involved with the family. I mean, when I came out there last year, you guys were out camping and took time away from your camping trip to talk about Christmas lights. So it's real fun to see that the entrepreneur family is not only busy working together, but they're busy as a family doing things. So it's real important because we get so caught up and just sometimes we pull ourselves away from the real focus, the real important things, which is that family. So good on you guys. I love seeing that.
Well, you're not no slouch either, man. You know how to, make sure that the business has a high value experience for your employees and your customers at the same time. It doesn't seem like you ever tread on your experience with your daughters. So I think you know it just as good, if not better than me.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's different ways of doing things, and but together as a whole, collectively, we're out providing for our family and making sure that they're number one always. And yeah, the team and culture, you guys have phenomenal culture. I think you should really speak to that, what you're doing out there for your team, because when I was out there, they loved working with you guys, and I didn't hear one negative thing. We're out there sweating. I mean, just busting our butts out there, hanging lights, and they're happy as can be. So whatever you guys are doing, you guys need to preach to it because it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't say that there's anything. I mean, well, I'll start by saying, like, every company, if you don't have your core values lined up, get them lined up right away. So that's like step one. It's the rules that we all follow. And I think it's probably one of those things that unlocks your employees' ability to call the owners and the managers out. Because I think sometimes people really appreciate or look to like managing a team as like this downward coaching where messages come from the top and they get pushed down to the front line. But we really encourage our team to coach from the bottom up also. They're seeing more than us out in the field. They're experiencing the I call it the cracking of the whip, right? So the guy that's like holding the handle of the whip, like he makes this movement, and by the time it gets to the end of the whip, like it is breaking the sound barrier. And that's exactly what happens in a company. Is like I make a decision, make a tiny move here, and by the time it reaches those guys out there, like they're just getting thrown about. So them feeling comfortable to coach me and Ashley and making sure that as we're building directions and guidance for them to follow through on, that they just know that if it doesn't fit and it doesn't work right, let us know so we can make the adjustments to make it work better.
Yeah, I love that because that open dialogue is very important, because sometimes we get caught up with just barking orders and communicating too much with them and not listening, and then they don't have that open dialogue with you, so they're out there miserable, pissed off.
Yeah.
Things are going off, awful. Callbacks are happening, and it's because they can't communicate effectively with the owners because they're afraid to. They're afraid of the backlash, like you said. So that's great to keep that open dialogue.
Yeah. And then I would only say the only thing that's like goes beyond that is just empowerment. They got hired to do a job. They've gone through the training. They have the experience. Like for anything I'm going to say and try and do to make them get their work done is only going to get in the way of them achieving the best results. I'm not going to be able to, the job was never created to be like owner plus employee doing it side by side, hand in hand. Like let them work and let them make mistakes and let them be accountable for their own mistakes. They're going to rise.
That's right. And you train to the mistakes, and instead of just beating them down and saying what an awful employee they are and how, they could have done things so much better, figure out what went wrong. It's probably a training deficiency too, and train to it so that it doesn't happen again, and make sure that it's implemented in the SOPs and your procedures.
Yeah, that's something that I think is a work in progress for us still, is the SOPs, because we built our business for many years kind of training on and directing people on lore where like processes and expectations are handed down from generation to generation. And I think now we're really working hard. So this year was a big change for us where we rolled out a training program that was documented and formalized, where a person can not only execute the training program, but the same training program that I'm training people on last week is going to be the same people I'm training the people on next week. And there's going to be this, delivered consistency of the message. So once the training's done with, it's going to be really them among each other that are going to be asking questions and seeking out feedback on the results they're getting or not getting. And the truth is if everybody is getting the same information, everybody should be getting the same results.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm going to throw you on the spot right here, and hopefully you said you had your core values.
Yeah.
And for us, we knew we had to have core values. We thought we knew what they were, but we never had them written down. And I remember Sales Boost last year, I believe it was Sales Boost, Matt Clark called it out and said, you need to have your core values. And I said, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And we didn't just finally hammer it out and write it out until recently. Now it's on the walls. Now it's in our job descriptions. And now we have something to hold our team accountable to, because before it was always like, well, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. But now we have light. Be the light. LIGHT. Loyalty, integrity, humility, growth, and teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
So that they have to align with those core values.
Yeah.
And it's on the walls when they walk in, so they see it every day. And if they're doing something wrong, when we counsel them, like, hey, this wasn't part of your teamwork. Like, why are you doing this on your own and being, not being a part of the team? And
Mm-hmm.
can you share yours?
Yeah. So Wash Masters is our business, if you can't see it there. And our core value is soap. So we call it our Wash Masters soap and what makes our business successful. So S meaning sweat the details. O is open communication. A is accountability. And P is our passion to serve. So, and it's not just something that like we just say once in a while or we just call out as it's convenient for us when we're delivering a speech. It's talked about in every situation. We actually meet with our employees monthly in a sit down one-on-one where we not only just go through all of their performance and the results, but we also talk about how they are living up to the Washmaster soap and what they're doing to follow through with those core values. So it's just like I said, it's something that they should hold us accountable for as managers and owners of the business, because we're going to hold them accountable to it. And it's that it's like the Constitution, like it's a law that we all have to follow. And if we ever break the core values, like we just know that there's a consequence to be paid.
Yeah. And you said, accountable a couple times there, and it's important to be accountable. That's part of your integrity. You can't preach to do something and then not be doing it on your own. Real quick, you said SOAP, SOAP. Sweat the details. What was it?
Yeah, sweat the details.
Yep.
Open communication, accountability, and a passion to serve. And I'll even kind of rattle off like why they exist. So sweat the details. We're in the cleaning business. It's very binary, yes or no. Did we do our work, right? So the closer you pay attention to the details, the better the results are going to be, and the more you're going to be able to say it's a one and done activity. Because there's far too many times where if you're not paying a close attention to those small details, you're just going to have to keep coming back.
Yep.
And it's not going to get cleaner as you walk away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Open communication. This one's probably the most important to me, and probably the biggest reason why we started our business is there's been far too many times in my employment over the years where information just showed up at my doorstep and I had to react to it. Right. And I know for a fact that by the time I learned about something, somebody along the way had already been talking about it for days, weeks, and months in advance. And for me to all of a sudden have to just find out last minute when something's about to happen that affects me directly, it's not only unfair, but it's going to shorthand me and my results that I'm trying to achieve for my people and for my employer back then. So we just kind of said, well, what can we do to confront it head on and prevent people from being surprised by not having proper information? And for our employees, like we have these monthly one-on-ones. We have daily huddles, and we're always trying to disseminate Slack. We use Slack and multiple different Slack channels.
Love
but
Slack.
To that same point, the team, let's say we all of a sudden have somebody that calls off and it's the morning of their shift and they're like, oh, I'm sick. I'm not feeling good. Well, that's not open communication. If you were sick this morning, you were sick last night,
right?
Or you were sick at the end of your shift. Like the fact that you're dropping that off on my doorstep 20 minutes before you're supposed to be at the shop, you're hurting everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and accountability, it speaks for itself. And the P for passion to serve, I think, is the only reason that we continue to grow as a business, is that we look for ways to be humble and have a strong humanity to the work that we're doing. We get invited inside people's houses, and these are their single greatest investment. And we're going inside of their personal and private spaces, kids' bedrooms and stuff. Like, you have to be really humble and have a high level of humility to show up inside somebody's house. Because if I walk in there, or we walk in there with an attitude or a chip on our shoulder, we're kind of treading on somebody's personal spaces, and it leaves a stain when we're gone.
Absolutely. Yeah. First impressions are everything. And to deliver that white glove service to the homeowner, and yes, it's just cleaning windows, but how much value you're bringing to them. Now they can actually see out the window. They feel better. They don't have to worry about it. And they know that next time when the window's dirty, that all they got to do is call Washmasters, and it's all there for them. No hassle, and just the 5-star service. So it's important, and it's good to have the buy-in from the team too. So
yeah, man.
Well, very cool. What's on the agenda for the year? How you guys looking? How you guys tracking?
Yeah. This is going to be a growth year for us. So last year was a little bit of a challenge in terms of just a rapidly changing landscape and the customers. We had a major price increase on top of just kind of trying to really organize the business to have a little bit more structure in how management operates and how the team operates. So last year was a growth year where we ended up like 25% growth, which is great. Anytime you're growing, you know, I hear if you're not growing, you're dying as a business. But this year is going to be even bigger than last year. So something that's really important to us is to be flexible and appreciate that we're going to be doing a lot of new things. So that's kind of the rule of the year is everybody has to be really flexible in what's happening. And as we're working on bigger and, you know, more complex projects, that we're not kind of holding ourselves rigid to these, this is the way it was said it was supposed to be done. You have to do it this way. Like, we're going to roll with the punches and be a lot more cool with like, hey, if it's not going to go perfectly, at least it's going to go forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's one thing we're working on too this year is a little bit of growth on the wash side, more on the light side, but dialing in all the systems and get everything just hammered out black and white, so that it's like textbook handed over. Here you go, and we can replicate it very easy. So we talk about it for years, and we had things in place, but I think overall we were doing good. Now we just want to be great with what we're doing.
Yeah,
So
something I was going to call you on the spot about. So you made a post, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago about hiring short-term staff and
mhm,
saying that there's like so many expectations or so many excuses people are going to give and not having enough staff for when you need them, right? And in the lights business, like, you need a lot of staff. You need them, and then you
fast.
need them for like a small
Yeah.
window of time.
Yep.
That's something that we're going to be working hard at, is to not tread on our wash business to benefit the light customers in the light business. So tell me, man, what's the secret sauce? How do you find a lot of people in a short time and keep them for a little while?
Yeah, well, a lot of it goes into the culture, like you talked about, and it's 24/7. So they need to see that in the job ad, in the description, so that they're already getting excited, knowing that they're there for a season, just for the 3 months or 4 months, whatever it is. So we want to set the expectations right away and show them the path, like what they're capable of doing or capable of making, and talk about the culture, talk about the people, talk about the why, and not the job ads. I always hate when it's like must have this, must do this, must. It's like we talk about what they can gain by coming here. The pay structure. We changed the hourly in the job ad. It used to be hourly, 15 to 20 bucks an hour, to a weekly, and in that weekly we put including the tips and the bonuses they can get. So it's like we're giving you, like, you could make up to X, but statistically you're going to be around this number. So that gets them excited. They already know they're a seasonal job, but we also put in there with the opportunity to stay on full time. And we always try and keep at least one person on throughout the year, because we never know what we're going to get. And sometimes we get just these absolute rock stars and we want to retain them because they're great. So we'll find a home for them. And then when they come into the office for the interview, again, that culture is there. We have pictures on the wall of our team. We show them the trucks. We show them the lights and everything. We show them the daily steps that they'll do from the time they come in the morning to the time that they end, and how much fun they can have doing it. Again, it's a job, but it doesn't mean you can't have fun doing it. And that's what we really preach to, because I want everybody to want to come to work, not feel like they have to come to work.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all those things we get them excited. And once they have the buy-in and they see the excitement, they see what we're doing, they see the potential, it's just a matter of them saying yes. When can they start and start the training? So is it easy? Do we get it right every single time? Absolutely not. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we set up group interviews and have 10 people lined up and maybe 2 people show up. So that part's frustrating, but it's just keeping it consistent with everything, keeping it consistent with your branding, keeping it consistent with your message. Now we can do the core values and they can see the core values. So for us, we sell the value of our family. You're a team member. You're not an employee. I don't want you to be a number. I want you to be a part of something. I want you to grow personally and professionally. It's a time where you can make a lot of money in a short period of time for the holidays. And I have a nice 2 weeks off during the Christmas and New Year. So it's like all those little things that are packing value into why they should work for Patriot Elimination.
That's so cool, man. You make it sound easy too. Like, hey, you just follow steps 1 through 100 and you get a great culture. But I know it requires a lot of hard work too, every step of the way, right?
Oh, it's 24/7. You have to have the buy-in from everybody, and that 24/7 part is real important though, because especially during the Christmas light season, I'm guilty of it at times too. You get so frustrated. You're doing 60, 70 hours a week. Inventory is off, job callbacks, things like that. But you got to keep a level head throughout, because if you're getting frustrated, they're getting frustrated. And when you're doing 5, 6 jobs a day, whatever it is, even 1 or 2 big jobs, you want the team to stay focused. You want them to be happy, because while they're doing this, it's a very emotional experience for the client. And if they're out there frustrated because you just got done yelling at them because, I don't know, you lost a strand of minis or something like that, then the job quality goes down, and the customer's going to get the lights turned on at night. And they're like, oh my God, this is good.
Yeah.
But we don't do good. We do great. We want them to glow about it. We want them to be excited about it. So it's a real important to really step up your culture during the busy season.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, you have to double down. So I want to change gears because I don't know if anybody knows that I was going to talk with you on Friday too, so I got a chance to hop on with you early. But one of the questions I wanted to ask is, you work with your dad as a partner in your business, and I think the adage is something like family and business never mix well, or something to that effect. And anybody that knows me, I run my business with my wife, Ashley, and we are pretty much the face of Washmasters. But for you have a weird dynamic where it's father, son, and you are also kind of leading out front where you're like the face of the business. So I want to know, man, how do you make it work so good?
Well, if you look at JC 10 years ago and JC now as a leader, it was completely different. I mean, I love my father more than anything, and some days I just wonder why he even talks to me still. He should have put me up for adoption years ago because of all the stress I put on him and how many times I fired him, and then the next day he's there just ready to go. So it's definitely a different dynamic, and I've gotten better with it over the years. It's still not perfect. God bless him for always being there for me no matter what. Every time I call him, I mean, he answers that phone every single time. It's like, do you need anything? No, Dad, we're good. We're good. So I appreciate him. I love him to death. And it's not for everybody. I've seen relationships go very toxic because of it, because you're the stress level while you're there, then it comes home, and then you're dealing with it at home. So you don't have those boundaries to separate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when I was deployed overseas, he was there running the business. And when I came home, he was there running the business with me. If I've got a crazy idea, he's got a crazy solution. So it's just it's a great dynamic, and I'm very grateful and blessed to have him there for me every day.
That was the next question I wanted to ask and I think you already answered it. So he's the integrator, you're the visionary in kind of the partnership.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to as far as, he's very hands off on all things business, but when it comes to like JC's got a crazy idea, or we got to do something, or like the Christmas light show, all is bright, like these things I was trying to do, I'm like, Dad, this is what we got. And he's like, all right, just give me an hour, and then he'll just calculate everything in his head and make it happen. I'm like, Jesus, like, how do you make it look so easy?
That was crazy.
That's a good word for him. He's very calculated with everything he does. He's got a construction background for 50 years now, I guess. And if there's a problem, he's got the solution.
There was some weird things that you put together. Like one day you're posting pictures of him cutting out a sleigh out of plywood. The next day there's like a 12-foot like mini wrapped present that's being put together. Like, I imagine that some mornings he had to just kind of like, what happened? Like, where did this come from?
I don't think he's ever said, no, this is not going to happen. I mean, the sleigh thing, yeah, I'm like, Dad, we can go buy this for a couple $1,000s, go down to Atlanta and pick it up, or we can make a bunch of them here in-house. And I think it was like 2 days later, he's like, all right, here's the layout. Here's what we're going to do. And then he just made it happen, and it looks great. Actually, we just put it on a trailer because we're doing a local parade festival coming up next weekend. So we busted out all the Christmas stuff, and we got it on a 22-foot trailer. We got a sleigh. We've got the Christmas present that you're talking about, some 2D figures, and a 16 or 14-foot Christmas tree that will be towing down our main street with a snow machine coming out next Saturday.
I'm telling you, I mean, like, It's probably going to be in about maybe 3 years. I'm going to call it right now. 3 years from now, you're going to just have like a full on Christmas experience that you're just going to host right out in your backyard, and people will come from miles around to see it.
That's what my goal and vision is for the All Is Bright. I would love to do it in my own property if we ever had something, but for now, what we have and the location and the venue, everything it's perfect. I mean, the feedback we got from the community was just incredible. It was like overwhelming, and I had a vision for years, and it took me 3 years to finally get my foot in the door. And they were very standoffish. They're like, no, it's not going to work. This isn't good, and it's going to require all this. I'm like, look, I have a vision, and I'm not going to do this half-ass. If we're going to do it, Patriot Nation is going all in, and we're going to be the staple for the community. And, you know, as the owner, I'm looking at him like, I'm just beating myself down. Like, this is good, but it could be better. And everybody around me, like, JC, this is phenomenal. Like, this is more than we expected. And once we turned the lights on and opened the doors, it was literally like 5:00 at night, Friday, Black Friday. The doors were opening. We're plugging the last Christmas tree to get it all lit up. It's just the feedback was incredible. The support from the community was phenomenal, and they're ecstatic about going again 2023. So it took a lot of sweat. I mean, emotional breakdowns a couple of days because I'm like, this isn't going to be perfect, and I was too busy focused on what perfect could be and not looking at the big picture of we did it.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, you made a tremendous investment in this, and you had to like pull together like international resources. And like, I'm telling you, it seemed like you were doing the job of like 5 different people just to put this together on the back end.
Yeah. And the logistics were awful because we were so busy with the lights. I was expecting to have a couple of days where the guys can come help me. And Liz is like, JC, they're busy. I'm like, God. So I'm out there by myself, or my dad would come out there and help me. Next day, I'm like, hey, can I get the guys? Like, JC, they're busy. I'm like, Jesus. So this year we're going to have like a team just for this, like a full team, full-time team out there building the Christmas experience. We're going to go bigger this year and take away a lot of the stress of the unknown. So I'm looking forward to it. The community is looking forward to it. And we're excited to hopefully double down and just go bigger with it.
That's so cool. So I got to ask, what do you do with your SD64 nifty lift when you're not hanging lights, man?
Right now, it's just sitting between the 2 Connex boxes. We did use it for one commercial job for washing, but we're hoping to be able to utilize it more throughout the year this year on larger commercial jobs. But really, the investment was for the lights. And if we had the opportunity to use it for the wash season, then it was just a bonus.
Yeah.
But I mean, I used it every single day for the month of November and a lot of October for that. So it was a good investment.
Yeah, it's such a cool lift. I have my eye on one.
Yeah, would I buy that lift again? Yes, probably, but I would also want to look into other lifts, like the spider lifts, because just towing it is kind of a pain in the arse. But the capabilities and how easy it is to maneuver through yards and the speed is nice.
Yeah, that I guess a 9,000-pound lift is not easy to get around.
No, and yeah, I think it's a 24-foot trailer we have towing it with a 2,500, and we had no issues, but it's just sometimes it was like trying to get in a tight neighborhood. It's like, how are you going to do this? You got to be very calculated about it. So
I rented one. I have a 1-ton pickup truck too, and just pulling something that big, it's like you have to be on high alert the whole time.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it doesn't break as fast as you would think too. So. All right. So you got any departing words?
Yeah, I just want to say, anybody that's gotten on JC's calendar for this live event, like, enjoy it, because I'm telling you, I imagine that a year from now, you're going to have quite a following, and there's going to be a lot of people are going to be significantly benefited by all of the great things you're sharing. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
No, I appreciate you. I mean, you were one of the first ones to jump on. Thank you for jumping on today, short notice. And I was excited to see you on there, and I hope to get next time we get you and Ashley on, because I love the dynamic, and it'd be fun just to be able to talk with the owner operator, husband, wife, and talk about that dynamic, because I know there's a lot of spouses, working together. So it'd be good to get a perspective on what you can do to make it successful and also have those boundaries once you step inside the home.
So I don't know if you have that Friday spot open that I was going to occupy, but maybe you should just ask her if she wants to fill it solo.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, it's still there, so we can do that.
Perfect.
So if you got her number, why don't you reach out to her for me?
I'll see if I can get in touch with her. She's a busy gal.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much. Stay warm out there, and I hope you enjoy that warm weather coming.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Take care.